Welcome everyone to today's EdTech Tuesday session. Today we're going to look at how to build better writers through gamified writing activities with the program called Short Answer. Please keep your mics muted, but feel free to type questions in the chat section. We'll be monitoring that. If you have not registered on the PD system, please do that. The session number is 361345. The link is in the chat. And make sure you do the remote check-in so you can get credit for attending today's session. The remote check-in code is PSJA Tech. Okay, so what is Short Answer? When I was at TCA 2 years ago, I actually ran into, on the vendor floor, the creator of Short Answer. And I didn't really play with it or use it, but he was there again at TCA this past year in February, and I got to see a little bit more of it, and it's pretty cool. It's a gamified writing practice, and it's built for any curriculum. You can use it for cross-content, anything that you want students to respond to, like a question that you're asking them that they can write. You can use it for formative assessment, and it can help with writing practice. So getting started with the teacher resource page, you can always look for this little I, and I'm going to go live in just a few minutes. I'm just going to go over a few slides. There are tutorials there for you. There's 3 different games that you can play with your writing question. They also have a video overview of each of those games, and they have some teacher guides along with a few other helpful things when you get started on that guide. All the short answer activities, your students create a response, and then their peers will be able to evaluate their writing, and they can actually leave feedback for them. So it's pretty cool. You get all your students involved, and it's engaging, and it helps everybody get a deeper understanding of their writing. These are some different things you could maybe use the writing activities for: bell ringers, check for understanding, guided practice, independent practice, writing revision, exit tickets, maybe even homework. First of all, you're going to create your question. And you don't want this to be like a full-length writing paper. It's just, a few sentences, maybe a paragraph that will answer a certain question that you have in any of your content areas. So to do that, we're going to come to the question area, or you can discover questions that they already have created, and I'm going to go over and show those to you. From the question tab, you can also launch then, once you have your question ready to go, into the game. And then this is where the students will be able to join. So here in the question launch, where you can edit the question, you can actually add files if there's more information, like a picture you want them to look at or anything else that you want them to read before they answer the question. There's scaffolds you can create for them. And actually this part does include a little bit of AI. It will create some scaffolds for you. You can select what is your success criteria. This is where at the end the students are going to be reading, and they're going to be choosing the writing from their peers that they liked best based on that criteria that you've chosen. And then you can review your question. And then this is just a little guide that pops up to help you write a better question. When you click this little caret, this down arrow caret, it will bring up that guide for you. Then once you have your question ready to go, you are going to be able to launch it into playing one of the games. They have All In, Parrot, and Battle Royale. So if you see actually number 1, this is your question. And once you start writing more questions, you'll have a little bank here. You click on the little rocket and it will actually launch. Then you select your activity. All In is if you want all the students' writings and you're going to have everybody comparing everybody's writing. Parrot is if you want it as a teacher, you can actually select the 2 writings from the class that the students will be comparing. And then the Battle Royale, you have to have at least 6 players for this one. So we won't be able to play that one today because we don't have 6 players with us. But this one is like a little tournament, kind of. So as the students are choosing which writing samples, that the way that people answer the question, you'll narrow it down to like the top 4, and then you'll eventually get down to one person that will win the game. So once you select your game, today we'll probably try All In. Then you are going to get some settings. Here is where you can control, like how many pairings should each student see? Do you want them to see just 2, or do you want them to see more? Maybe you want them to see 4 or 5 or 6. So that way you can actually change that number. Are the students allowed to copy and paste? So if you allow them to copy and paste, they might go to AI. That's what I did for today to get some of the writing samples and then paste it. So if you don't want that to happen, you can select no. You don't want them pasting. That way they have to copy. Maybe they've already answered the question and you just want to play the game, and they're just going to copy a document that they already wrote the answer to. That's a possibility. Then you would want to allow that. You can also enable or not the immersive reader so that we'll read it for them. You can allow for comments, or you can add the student writing scaffolds. Now here on this one that I didn't add the scaffolds in the editing part, so they're not available on this picture. And you can also allow translations. Then the students respond. This is where they come in, and you, as the teacher, you can see which students are in your class, and they start responding to that question that you are asking. Once you see that everybody has responded, you'll get this little complete bar, like all the people in my class have responded. This is where you can begin the feedback. And it will pop up, are you sure you want to begin the feedback? You click on that. Yes, I'm sure. Then the student will see on their end, they'll be logged in, and they will see the student's writing that they're going to check. That they're going to write. So they're going to answer the question and write. Once they finish their writing, they'll click on the next. They're going to rate their own writing. How comfortable or confident did they feel? And they're going to submit that feedback. And then it's going to ask them while they're waiting, do they want to change their avatar? And this is the little avatar right here. It's not too robust, but it can be changed, the shape, the face, the gestures, the color. So by the students waiting to read the student feedback as everyone else is still working, they can customize that. And then it will tell them, wait until the others are ready. So once they're ready and the teacher will move on, now they're going to get the samples of everyone else's writing. So this one has 2. They're going to read the first one, and then they're going to read the second one, and then they're going to evaluate. So right here, this is the first criteria was creative. How creative is their writing? So the student will then select, was this student more creative or this student? And then it will move on to the second criteria, and they'll do the same thing. They'll be rating those writings. Then they're actually able to leave some feedback. There's like a little sticky note, and they're able to click and say what did they like, I wish, and I wonder. So they can give some feedback to their peers. So I liked that part where they're doing the peer evaluations. And then the person, this is still the student view, will get some feedback. This was a student response. They will get kind of like their score, who voted for them, their reflection. And then this is their own reflection they're going to be asked to do again. And they get to see their pre-activity and then their post-activity. So they get to see a little feedback. Then the teacher view, the teacher will be able to see all the student responses in one area, and it will tell them if they use the scaffolds, if they use the translation. It gives you all that information. if what their score was, how many people voted for their writing. And then in the paid version, which you can get 3 months free, and I'll tell you that here at the end, you can export the results. Now, if you're using the free version, you can pretty much do everything I've done up till now, but you cannot export on the free version. So this is just a little overview of the different plans and what you can do. And I will share these slides with you, and this link right here is the premium for 3 months and the code that you can use to get this program free for 3 months so you can have all the different aspects of it. So now I'm going to go ahead and take you over to the actual website. Already logged in. You will have to create an account. You can use your Google account to do that, and then you'll be ready to go. So over here on the left, the three little lines just opens this up so you can see it a little bit better. I'm on the question page. That's where it opens up to. And here you can see I have a few questions. But you can come over here and create a question. So if you just want to create your own question, we'll come in and we'll create our question. So here are some topics that I already have going in my questions. I can create a new topic, or I can just create something here. So I'm just going to go to a fantasy adventure as my topic. And I'm going to have Magic School help us, which it already did right here. I asked it for a question for a fantasy writing prompt. So I'm just going to put that in here. And then I'm going to click Next. Okay, here, if I had a picture that I wanted to drop, or a PNG or a PDF, anything that I wanted to add, I could do that. I'm not going to do that at this point. This is where that drop has more information about attaching files. Okay, I'm going to go next. I'm not going to add any files right now. Now here, if I want some writing scaffolds to help the students out, this is where you can get a little bit of AI. It read my question, and it gave me some scaffolds, some ideas maybe that will help the student. So I'm going to leave those. I can alter them also and make them my own if I want to. I don't even have to use these. I can put my own in there. And then there's like a little outline that maybe will help them. These are scaffolds that the students can use, or they don't have to. They're just going to be optional. And you don't even have to add them in if you don't want to. This is totally up to you. Now this is the criteria, and you do need to pick criteria. This is how the other students are going to kind of score or evaluate the peer writing. So for this fantasy writing, I'm just going to put add the creative, did they have an engaging word choice, and was it unique? Those are the three I'm going to choose. You can choose all. You can choose up to 5. 1 to 5. You could choose them all, I think, if you want to. I'm going to go to next. And so this is just kind of an overview of my question. It just kind of gives you everything you chose, and I'm going to create an exit. So now I have a question that I can use and launch with the students, and which we will do in just a minute here. I just want to go through some of these other tools before I launch. After we launch, we have results. This is the results tab, and we'll see our results. This is the Discover tab, where you can also get questions. So here we have some starter activities. We have English language arts, social studies, science, math. Up here you can choose your grade level. Right now I have all first grade through 12. And if you notice, they pretty much start at 3rd grade. They don't have anything listed for 1st and 2nd grade. That doesn't mean you can't use it with that level of student. You just want to make sure you have writers, and you definitely could customize your own questions. You could probably even use some of these questions and, maybe tailor it a little bit to the lower grade levels if you want to try it out with the younger students. So you can select just 1 grade level, and you can get activities here too. So if I come over here, here's some fantasy adventures for 3rd graders, and I can see what they have. If I like what they have and I want to use this one, let's say, I can just click on the plus and it adds it now to my question. So if I come back, here's the one I just added. And it just adds it here. Now, if I click on Fantasy Adventures, that's the topic I'm using, you can see that my question is there as well. This one just has like the recent ones. Okay, down here before we launch, we're going to launch in just a minute. The little I, this is where we have the getting started that I was telling you about. Here you can see different previews. This is just a little tutorial of each one. So let's just go through the parrot view. You can just click. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but you click here.
First, students sign in using your teacher code.
And you just click and go along.
Once signed in, students will start responding to your question or prompt. As a teacher, you can view and remove responses by clicking student cards. You can also track class progress using the completion bar at top.
So this is the game where the teacher is in control. You're going to choose the 2 students that the students are evaluating.
Once all students have submitted, click Choose Responses. You now choose 2 responses for the class to compare, enabling you to be intentional about which responses students will see. With 2 responses selected, click Begin Feedback. Students now compare those 2 responses, awarding points based on which response better contains the success criteria. When all students have provided feedback, click Show Results. The class choice is now revealed. Students review results and submit reflections on their learning. You can track and discuss these reflections with the class. Click Start New Pair Comparison to select more responses for the class to compare, or click End Activity. Once the activity is ended,
Okay, so in that one, you can see the teacher is going to be intentional. They're going to be choosing 2 passages at a time that the students will go through and compare. And you can keep comparing until you've compared everybody's. So the teacher has a little more control there. We're going to try the all-in today, which they're just going to be random. And then this is the battle. But you can come back here and they're just very straightforward little tutorials. And then there's also some video overviews in this area. And you can see there's subject guides. There's other getting started guides. There's even social emotional learning. So you have some different teacher resources there. Okay, we're going to go back and I'm going to see, we have a little bit of time. We're going to go back to this hidden door question and I'm going to go ahead and launch it. So those of you that are on, if you want to try to join, I'm going to do the all in. We'll see if we can get a few people to join. Let's see, let's compare 4. Well, we'll just do 2. I'm going to allow copy and paste. I'm going to enable the immersive reader. I'm not going to allow comments at this time, but I am going to allow the scaffolding items that we added and translation. So I'm going to go ahead and select my settings and we're going to go ahead and launch. So I will copy this link. And I will go ahead and put it in the chat. So if you want to join, you can see the students can go to the website and put in the code. You can share the link or you can use the QR code. I have a few people joining. So I believe you already should see the question and you're able to answer that. So, and you don't have to write a lot. You can just write a sentence if you would and submit it. That way you can kind of see how that works. And then once you answer the question and I see that everyone's complete, that's when I'm going to come back up here and begin the feedback part. And you're welcome to put the question in AI and come up with the response that way if you'd like as well. We'll take a minute or two. I like this because your peers, the student peers, are then being able to help each other out. They're able to, assess the writing and give some feedback. You can also not show the names. Right now I have the names, but you can take that off. I can see now that I'm 50% complete, so somebody has submitted. So Valentine has submitted his answer. We'll give Ms. Leos another minute to see if she can submit. It doesn't even have to be a complete answer. I'm okay with anything. Just type in a few words and we can then go from there. It won't allow us to begin feedback until everyone has submitted. And I can set a timer as well. So you can come in here and set a timer for the students, and you can turn off or on the music, so you have some control there as well. Oh, we got another person joining, so maybe Ms. Leos was not able to work on the other one she joined. So once you have at least 2 students, you don't have to have everybody ready, but you do have to have at least 2 because you can't compare one. You do need to, have 2 to compare, to rate. Okay, perfect. So we have 2, so I'm going to go ahead and begin feedback. So now on the students end, they are going to see the 2 comparisons, and they're going to be able to select based on the criteria that we chose. We're going to see, and I should have joined as a student as well, but I didn't. So you'll have to, you can go back to the slides to look at the student view. So right now the students are writing. Actually, that's what they did already. So they're coming over here to rate, right here. They're reading the first response, the second response, and then they're going through their criteria and they're going to select the check mark of the writing that they like. And then once they've done all that, they're able to write some feedback to their fellow peers. And I am going to, well, we won't set a timer, but I'm just going to give you maybe 30 more seconds. And then we'll take a look at the results. We'll see if anybody's able to complete. So right now our participants are reading and choosing based on criteria. once we're going to go here for time purposes. We could wait till we were 100%, but we're going to go ahead and show the results. And we can turn off here. We can leave the student names on or off. We'll turn them off for now. And we can see that the Savvy Cipher was number 1 and Solid Writer number 2. Now, if we had a lot of participants, of course, we would see the whole line of how they did. And then I can show the question if we need to say question over here. And then I can end the activity, and then that will end it for the students as well. And then I can view the results. So right here on this little bar, this is where we have our results, and we can see. Now, of course, we just had the 2, but we're able to see, and I can turn off the names if I want to show the whole class, and we can see the feedback of how they did. And then if there was a reflection, we could see that. We didn't get to see that today because we didn't give a lot of time. So the program's pretty fun. I like it for students' feedback. You know, they're helping each other, they're evaluating, and they're giving hopefully some constructive responses to their partners and their peers. So that is what I wanted to show you today with Short Answer. If there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer those. If you need more tutorials on the Short Answer, they're right there in the program for you. Just create a free account and you're able to try 3 months for free. So you can get the full premium, the full access, but you can use the basic access and you can still launch as many questions as you want to and launch. You just cannot export the data. So I hope that you'll have fun trying Short Answer.